Hi guys, we will be discussing your very first group assignment together. At this point your groups have been formed and you have been in communication with your groups about the large group implementation guide that is your final project for this course. You can see here that you will be creating a group team charter. A team charter is a written document by the team defining how the team will accomplish the given objectives. I've given you the objectives. You are creating the implementation guide. So keep that in mind. This is your contract of how you're going to do it. It is your agreement with each other. So I want you to think about this in light of your peer evaluations at the very end. So you're really setting the stage of how you're going to work together, how you're going to operate and accomplish the large project of the implementation guide for project management. You can see here, and I just gave you really the purpose statement and team objectives, but you can be creative in thinking a little bit beyond just completing the implementation guide. What do you want? I want you to think about what grade do you want to make, right? You're setting the team objectives here. What grade do you want to make? How do you want to work together? Hopefully you want to work together cohesively, but in thinking about team objectives, can you measure those? You want to make sure that these are SMART objectives. I recommend one or two objectives here written in the SMART format. Also thinking through the process roles. Who is going to do what on the team? How will you divide the work for the final project? You can see here the team leader and the editor. Those are examples, as well as what work you are going to complete. For example, if you are using student 1's work breakdown structure and you are using student 2's communications plan, that would be listed here. That would be highlighted here. You would also want to talk about the other assignments and how that will be divided, and maybe who is going to submit the project. Think through all of those details here, because you want to make sure that you name every single person on your team in this section and provide a role. Please do not say that everyone will divide the work evenly. I want you to be specific and spell it out so that we do not have communication problems or that someone's role has not been clearly defined. You can see here I have provided team meetings, when and how you will meet, how often. The decision-making procedures. I want you to make sure that you have thought through this. How will you make decisions as a team? What if there's a disagreement? How will you solve a disagreement? Make sure you are thinking through this. Team communications. When are they expected to respond to communications? For example, if student 1 texts the group and everybody but student 5 responds, is that appropriate, right? And how often, right? If they respond a week later, is that appropriate? Probably not. So you need to define when is it feasible and when is it expected to respond in 24 hours, 48, etc. Expectations of team members. How do you expect team members to conduct themselves? Make sure you think through this because, again, we have emphasized a great deal of professionalism in this course, organization, leadership, and make sure you are highlighting those things, especially as respect for each other. In leadership, I really emphasize so many students should absolutely play well in the sandbox together. I know that it can be a challenge when you're working with a variety of people and opinions, but working cohesively with a team is going to aid you in your future careers. So make sure that you are taking the time and spelling that out. Assessment of team effectiveness. How are you going to evaluate the objectives that you created? If you establish that you want to make an A on the project, right? If you are writing that as part of your team objectives, how will you evaluate that? How will you evaluate how you work together? So it's fairly easy to evaluate if you've met your objectives in terms of grading, because that is very measurable, right? So that would be a good objective. It's also time bound because I will be grading these assignments. All right, so make sure that there is a rubric as well as a Dropbox. I will link them here. So of course you can see up in the assessment, you can see it'll be under your Dropbox, and then of course you'll also have a rubric here, and I'll make sure to link those at the top of this review here. Okay, in top of the Getting Started module under Group Team Charter. All right, y'all have a great day, and I look forward to seeing some beautiful, well-organized, and well-written team charters. Thanks.